Welcome to the Epic Success Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Shannon Irvine. And today, let's break down why you do what you do. I mean, in your life and in your business, how those habits that you are doing, your daily actions and decisions, are actually created without your willing participation. Well, let me rephrase that. If you want to know how to change a habit, we really got to dive into the brain-based process in which you make the habits to begin with, whether you want to create a good habit or remove a bad one. Today, we really are diving into brain-based habits and how to neurohack that system. So let's get into it. Here we go.
So I'm wanting to talk about the habits that you're putting together in your mind in order to get success. So one of the things that I get asked a lot is how to change the habits that you have. One of the biggest things that I hear is, well, I don't have enough time to do what I want to do. And I want to talk about that. And when we're trying to set our day up the way we want to, but we're telling ourselves in the very beginning of it, we don't have enough time. So habit starts in the mind. It starts in the brain. It starts with what you are allowing yourself to think. And it is the one thing that really is the separator between those who think successfully and those who do not. That's why you hear so many super successful people talking about their morning routine or their habits or the things that they do on a regular basis on a routine. They do that because they have learned one of the hacks to training your brain, to transforming your life and business, is really leaning hard into training your thinking, the neurohacking, everything we talk about in my neurocoaching programs. It's really that need of all a habit really is, we talked about belief. All a belief is a thought repeated over time, over and over again, to where becomes automated in your subconscious or your unconscious mind, because your unconscious mind's job is to automate what you think on a regular basis in words and pictures. So a habit is an action repeated over time, which, as you can quickly tell, starts with a thought. You guys, we've talked through the model, right? That neurocoaching model where the thought gets created first, then emotions happen. Those two things combine to become belief after repeated over time. Ultimately becomes your identity, right? And from that place is where you're making your decisions and taking your daily action. Those decisions and actions are your habits. That's the place where habits are made as they get repeated every single day. A habit is just a decision repeated. Just like a belief is just a thought repeated over time, a habit is just a decision repeated over time. So when somebody says, like, I don't have enough time, and they're trying to change their habits around productivity, around their success and the things that they want to get done, one of the biggest things I'm always going to come back to in the neurocoaching model is the fact that your thoughts are starting that cascade. And if you want something different in your life and in your business, then the key is to start to train the thinking, train in neural networks that allow the decision of the habit to become automatic. So you might, like, you hear people say, it takes 21 days to make a habit. So when I can show you through a imaging scan, what happens at 21 days is the network that holds the old decision repeated over time, called a habit, your old habit, and the new decision that you're trying to make repeated for the last 21 days, the new habit, those are literally in the brain equal at 21 days. That's why in 21 days, like, you can do anything for a few weeks, but it feels like right about that 3-week mark is when it feels like it gets quote unquote hard, which that right there is a decision to think it's hard, but I won't go on that rabbit trail. It becomes hard because at that point, those two networks in your brain, those freeways, think of them as freeways. Your decision-making car can get on one or the other. And so to really train those neural networks to where the one that house the old belief or habit literally prunes away, where it disappears. We've seen it just like literally separate. And the new one is actually built and automated. That's at about 67 days. So really, a habit can get created if we're repeating it for 60 to 67 days, depending on how deep the old habit was to break. So if that's the case, then, which it is, we've seen with neuroscience, then the key is to decide every single day, to get every single day up as a new decision and to put it in your calendar and to do it even when you do not feel like it, even when it feels hard. Because remember, hard is an interpretation. Hard isn't real. Hard isn't truth. Hard is what you perceive around that interpretation. So the key to really making these decisions in a way that create the habits that you want, which ultimately creates your success in your life, is really all the way narrowing your focus down to just today. What do I want for today? What do I intend for today? Because tomorrow will take care of itself, right? If you wake up every day postured to lean into your intention, to put your mind in the state where you will be the creator of your thoughts, and to put down everything that you need in your calendar, in your scheduler, online, wherever you're doing it. Of course, I'm a pen to paper girl. You guys have seen that. In fact, maybe I can break that down for you a little bit about how I break down my day. But it really does start with leaning into that daily planner, and whatever habit it is you're wanting to create, is it in the calendar? Is it scheduled? Instead of allowing the thoughts and emotions to pull you toward those old habits that you don't want. And if you leave it to that, if you leave it to chance, you're on autopilot, it's not going to get you to where you want it to take you. It's really that key of taking those habits to train them into your brain. It's literally only the day that's before you. So let me ask you, today, can you just do it for one day? Even though it takes 67 days, can you do it for one day? Because the key, like, we make it so much bigger because we think of it as this long-term thing. And the only way we build neural networks in our brain to give us the habits that we want is to do it one day at a time for 67 days. Now, one of the hacks that you can do is, especially if you're creating something new that does feel hard, remember that's an interpretation. It can feel easy too. That's going to be a decision and a choice on your part. But is to put a calendar up or somewhere where you can physically mark off each day with a big red marker. Your brain loves that. It loves to get rewarded that way. And so that is a way you can just really give your brain some extra neurochemicals. We've got over 30 neurochemicals that can be working for you toward these habits if you're really focusing in on one day at a time. But set your intentions before your day starts. What do you want to feel? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do? And when you do that, you put those habits down in your calendar, and then really just letting your calendar direct your thoughts, not letting your thoughts direct your day, letting your calendar direct your thoughts. Because if it aligns with what you really want, that future version of yourself, we make creating new habits and removing habits that we don't love so much more difficult than it needs to be. Anybody can do today. Anybody can do today. I know you can, I know Jordan can, I can, Max can, we all can do today. So I would love to know, what is one thing that you want to add into your being, into your habits, into your life today? Let me know what it is that you really are wanting to see happen, and how can you calendar that today? How can you put that into your calendar and really get that moving toward what you want versus just letting your autopilot take over. So I know for me, I'm really embarking on a clean eating type of thing. So one of the ways that I set that into my schedule is to order some food service. So, really, how can you put that habit in your calendar? And I would love to know what it is you're working on. Like I said, for me, one of the things that I'm really doing differently is trying to eat more in a vegan lifestyle. So I've got a food service being delivered so that I don't have to think about that habit. That habit just comes to me. And I'm going to do that for 67 days. Exactly the same reason I'm going to do it for 67 days is that I know it's going to take that long for my brain to build that network up to have it be where it's autopilot for me. What is it for you? What is that big thing? What is the big thing for you in your life that you really want to see happen? Like that you try and it just isn't working. You keep going and it just isn't working. And you really are trying to make it happen and it hasn't happened yet. How can we get that in your schedule today so that you can really, really finally get the momentum every single day toward that? And then let me know what that one thing is that you're going to start calendaring every single day. And of course, if you got it in your calendar, tag me on the socials at Dr. Shannon Irvine, and we will, I'll definitely comment. So here's the thing. We start to think about a decision being forever, and it starts to feel hard and it starts to feel heavy because we think in our minds, oh, I can never do that thing, or I'll always have to do that thing again, right? But the reality is it doesn't have to be forever. It only has to be for today. And then tomorrow, it will have to be for tomorrow and so forth. But if you think about it just being for today and today, for today, I'm going to do this thing, or for today, I'm not going to do this thing, and I'm going to schedule it that way, then you really can get that power built up in your brain, because in reality, you're really starting to let your brain see the thing that you want. You're leaning into it every single day. I'm going to challenge everyone though. We all know, right? There's that habit that we want to get rid of, or that habit that we really wish we could put in our lives. That's the thing that if it's in your calendar and you just think about it for the day, you can get your thoughts working for you instead of against you, one day at a time, and really start to see the compound interest of that habit start to take over in your life and in your business. So I'm excited for you to give this a try, and just to realize, I think just in the realization from a brain-based perspective, all a habit is a decision that you're making time and time again that gets repeated to the point to where it becomes automated in your subconscious, just like a belief is a thought repeated over time that gets automated. Your brain wants to work for you. It is your biggest and best asset to really get you to where you want to be. And I hope you really start to lean into this neurocoaching. Have a great day. Go after that habit one day at a time. Bye for now.
Okay. That was an amazing episode all around the brain-based process of creating habits. And listen, we create habits in our life. We create habits in our business, in our health, for our relationships, all the things. And so I really hope that you started to think about how this gets laid, how the process gets laid in your brain, and start to use this process to really bring the habits to you that you know are going to create the success that you want. And I cannot wait to help you bust through all the things holding you back and truly create the success that you want. All right, that's it for this week. We'll see you next week on the Epic Success Podcast. Bye for now.